Hello YouTube, and welcome to Positive Approach Counseling's 9th video. I'm Jonathan Taglione, and today we're going to be discussing conflict and how people commonly view conflict. There are two different types of people who view conflict. Some people view conflict as unhealthy, while others look at conflict as that it's healthy and that it's an opportunity to grow. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the unhealthy piece of conflict and how it interacts with overall relationships, communication, and feelings. Okay, so if you're somebody who avoids conflict, there are two different types of mindset that you probably have engaged into. That would be the avoidance mindset and also the placater mindset. Now, with the avoidant mindset, you have a tendency to avoid conflict as much as you possibly can. So hypothetically, for example, let's say that you're challenged by friends, family, or your husband or girlfriend in your personal relationship. If you're the type of person that is an avoider, you probably have felt disrespected, ganged up upon, defensive, and sometimes you have probably engaged in the victim role. And what that mindset would lead to something like this. Whatever I do is not good enough. You always tear me down. Why should I listen to you when you always criticize me? With that type of mindset, that leads into arguments, and arguments lead into a negative mindset of wanting to stuff feelings. And people stuff feelings in a variety of different ways. Sometimes people stuff feelings through deflection. So the topic of conversation constantly shifts when somebody is deflecting. So let's say, hypothetically, for example, you're somebody who is not ready for a deeper relationship with your girlfriend, and she mentions something to the effect of, hey, my parents are in town and I really want you to meet them. And you decide to be more involved and focused on the football game, baseball game, and you don't really acknowledge what she says. So the thing about it is, you'll be like, your team scores and you'll be like, yes, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden, you'll start talking about the plays and the players of the game. And then the topic of conversation is completely stagnated. The type of person that has a tendency to stuff feelings, sometimes people will use drugs and alcohol, sex, in order to push those feelings down even more. Constant avoidance of talking about your issues and handling conflict in a healthy way causes emotional numbness. Now, what emotional numbness is that it's a defense mechanism in order for you to shut down your feelings because there's an overwhelming abundance of many different emotions. And if you feel emotionally numb, it can be very, very dangerous, And the thing about it is that it's dangerous because when you are emotionally numb, you can't truly connect with your friends, your family members, or your girlfriend, wife, husband, because the thing about it is that people strive for connection, communication, and trust. If you're emotionally numb and you're avoiding your topics, what people want is they want someone who can be emotionally vulnerable to somebody. And as I said, if you are someone who feels emotionally numb, I would recommend that you go see a therapist, because if you don't take care of this, things could get a whole lot worse for you. And the biggest problem when it comes to emotionally numbness is that it kills the relationships that you have established. And on top of that, you're not able to fully live life. You feel emotionally numb. You're not able to feel joy or happy. you are depressed, or you are completely cut off, from your feelings. Another thing is that addictions, when it comes to emotional numbness, is a whole lot worse. The more uncomfortable you feel being sober, the more that you'll start to consume more, because the drugs give you sometimes a sense of euphoria, and alcohol will give you a false sense of calmness. But without you taking those drugs or drinking that alcohol, you'll start to feel the feelings to resurface, and it is a bad mix, believe me. Also, when people deal with emotional numbness, sometimes they engage in behaviors such as self-harm. This can be very dangerous even of itself, because it can turn into an addiction. And another thing is that depression heightens, which leads to suicidal thoughts. So remember, if you're somebody who is an avoider and is starting to feel emotionally numb, I suggest that you definitely speak to a therapist as soon as you possibly can. Let's talk about the Placaters. The Placaters are the type of people that conform to a angry or hostile situation, and they don't really express their true feelings. I want you to think of a Placater as somebody who's a martyr. And the problem with a Placater is that they're not expressing their true feelings, and when you don't express your true feelings, you're going to be feeling like you don't have a voice, that you don't really have a say, that your opinion means nothing, and that you don't really have a contribution to make. Placaters will overextend themselves, and the problem with that is that it leads to isolation, and you feel that you can't really express your feelings to the people that are considered your friends. So if I'm a Placater, I'm putting out all these emotional fires, but I also think to myself, I can't really tell somebody how I truly feel, because if I do, it doesn't feel right to me when I should be taking care of my friends. Placaters are also a type of avoider too, where they have a tendency to focus on other people's issues and not focus on their own. And this leads to that superhero complex that you have probably heard in pop psychology, where somebody overextend themselves and they don't have the emotional strength or the resources to handle their own issue. Placater, sooner or later, you're going to have an emotional outburst. And it could be an outburst of anger, sadness, and the thing about it is that, like the avoiders, you need to give yourself time, and you also need to start opening up to the people that you feel care about you. And if you don't do this, this causes more strain on your body, leading to stress and anger and overthinking. Sometimes when Placaters have a tendency to overthink, they'll start running scenarios in their mind to how they're going to handle that situation. Overthinking is a high stressful situation, because you're creating something that could possibly not come to pass. And the thing about it is that the fear is more dangerous than the actual situation in and of itself. Now, the simple solution is to just talk to the person that you have a conflict with. And it's very important for you to adopt a new mindset that conflict is healthy. And the thing about it is that when you do that, I want you to also think too that conflict is a way for me to emotionally grow. I'm not holding myself back. I'm not trying to protect them from how I truly feel. It is what it is. So here's the thing. If you're somebody who looks at conflict as healthy and somebody challenges you, you start to develop two types of thinking. One is the empathy type and the other is the open communication type. When somebody challenges me, I will try to understand their motivations. I will express my feelings openly if I agree with them or not. And sometimes, if I have to, I will have to set boundaries with them because either it's because I feel they're being over-involved in my life, or when you truly adopt that conflict is a healthy and natural part of any type of relationship out there, one of the things that you'll start to understand is that empathy is key when it comes to conflict resolution. So basically what empathy is to not feel sorry for them, nor rescue them from a person's personal problem. It's the ability to understand their thoughts and their feelings and not judge them in that moment. And it's sort of like walking a mile in their shoes and understanding where exactly they're coming from. And doing so causes their defenses to lower and developing a stronger relationship with that person, which is the foundation of intimacy. What people want is connection, open communication, and trust. If you don't have these three things, then it's going to be really difficult, in which pride comes in, and then just like the negative mindset of conflict, you're going to develop that conflict is unhealthy entirely, so I have to do everything that I can to avoid it. Now, in order to gain empathy, what you're going to have to do is encourage open communication. No matter how bad or how good the topic of conversation is, you have to take accountability for your own actions and recognizing how your emotions play a part in behavior. And the other thing about it is that if you make a mistake, you have to be willing to forgive yourself and acknowledge that. And it's a great way to move forward. So if you are the type of person that is just getting started into viewing that conflict is a healthy part of life, I want you to develop a mindset of, I can grow if I am honest with myself. I gain strength from truth and accountability and being open, and the people that I love deserve to know the real me. If they cannot accept it, then I am going to move forward, and by moving forward, I choose to be happy. From all of us at Positive Approach Counseling, thank you for watching our video. If you like this video, please leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. My name is Jonathan Taglione, and find your positive approach.